It started with a name, Clayton Ryder. In the dusty border town of Rust Creek, folks still remember the Ryder twins. Born minutes apart under a rare red moon, they were identical in every way except one. Clyde Ryder was kind, dependable, and had the hands of a healer, worked as a veterinarian and helped ranchers for miles. But his twin, Clayton, well, people said the devil himself got confused and put his soul in the wrong body. They were as close as two rattles in a den. But as they grew, so did the divide between them. By 25, Clyde had built a humble life. Clayton? He was a drifter, gambler, and eventually a wanted man, linked to barroom brawls, stolen horses, even rumors of disappearances. But every time the law came knocking, he was nowhere to be found. That's when the nightmare began for Clyde. One summer evening, the sheriff came by Clyde's ranch. A traveling merchant had been robbed and left half dead outside town. The man swore it was Clyde Ryder who did it, said he recognized his face and even saw the initials as C.R. burned onto the thief's saddle. Clyde was stunned. He had an alibi, he'd been with his fiancée, June Talbot, the daughter of a wealthy land baron. But with Clayton missing, suspicion hung like a storm cloud. Though Clyde was never formally charged, townsfolk began to whisper. Maybe he's not the man we thought he was. Clyde begged his brother to come forward. He wrote letters. Wrote out to old hideouts. No reply. Only more crime and more people blaming him. Over the next year, reports of crimes continued. A bank robbery in Tucson. A stagecoach ambush in Reed Ridge. A saloon shootout in Deadwater. Each time, the description matched Clyde exactly. One time, the sheriff even arrested Clyde outright after a young boy picked him out of a lineup. He sat in a cell for 3 days before the boy admitted he wasn't sure anymore. The problem was Clayton never left evidence, not fingerprints, not a clear motive. Only faces. And all anyone could ever say was, he looked just like Clyde. And each time, Clyde's reputation died a little more. His engagement fell apart. June's father forbade the wedding, calling him a public disgrace. Clyde's clients stopped showing up. He sold half his livestock to stay afloat. It was the murder that changed everything. A federal agent named Luke Mathers came to Rust Creek following a string of counterfeit operations linked to nearby towns. He partnered with Sheriff Thomas Griggs, a man who had once held Clyde as a baby and now could barely look him in the eye. One morning, a railroad engineer named Jonas Pike was found dead, shot twice in the back and dumped near the old freight tracks. A bag full of counterfeit bills was discovered beside him, and more damning, a witness saw someone leaving the scene. The description? Looked just like Clyde Ryder. Except a little meaner in the eyes. This time, the sheriff didn't hesitate. Clyde was arrested, shackled, and hauled into the town square like a common killer. "Tell us why you did it," people shouted. His mother, Martha Ryder, wept on the church steps. But Clyde only said one thing, "I didn't do this. But I know who did." Agent Mathers wasn't like the town folk. He didn't trust gossip. He wanted proof. "I've seen copycats, doppelgangers, and false flags. But this is something else," he said. Over the next week, Mathers dug deep. He reviewed crime scenes from 4 counties, matched timelines, interviewed people who had seen Clyde in places where Clyde had hard alibis, one during a horse surgery, another helping at a school fair. Something didn't add up. Then he found it. A boot print found at the scene of Jonas Pike's murder. It was a custom brand from an outlaw-friendly cobbler in El Paso. The boot size? Half a size larger than Clyde's. Mathers ordered a quiet tail on Clyde, hoping to catch Clayton in the act. For 5 days, nothing happened. On the 6th, everything changed. It was June who gave the tip. She saw someone who looked like Clyde sneaking into the old barn on her father's ranch late at night. Mathers set up a sting. Hidden men. No noise. No warning. Around midnight, the trap was sprung. What they saw shocked even the agents. Clayton stood there, rifling through old boxes, planning another counterfeit run. His face? A mirror image of Clyde. Same scar over the brow. Same jawline. Same voice. But the eyes, they were cold. Empty. Clayton drew a gun. A brief shootout broke out, but he was captured alive, wounded in the leg. When they brought him into town, folks stared as if they'd seen a ghost. 2 men. 1 face. What came next shook the entire county. Clayton confessed to it all, every theft, every scam, every murder. He admitted to stealing his brother's identity, using it to stay hidden. Said it was the perfect alibi. But the final twist? It wasn't just crime. It was hatred. "I always hated Clyde," Clayton hissed during his interrogation. "He got everything. The love. The respect. I got beatings. I got shadows. So I gave him a taste of hell. Every time someone spat at him, I smiled." Even worse, he'd faked letters from Clyde to June, telling her he didn't love her anymore. He had watched Clyde's life fall apart and felt nothing. "I wanted to destroy him slowly. And I almost did." Clayton was sentenced to life in federal prison, spared death only by a deal to testify against others in the counterfeiting ring. Clyde was exonerated, formally cleared of all charges. But the scars ran deep. Though the town apologized, and June came to visit him again, things weren't the same. The damage had been done. Trust, once broken, doesn't mend like bone. Clyde left Rust Creek not long after. Moved to the highlands of Montana. Took up a quiet life tending to wild mustangs. Some say he never recovered. Others say he found peace. Clayton? He died in prison 6 years later. Stabbed during a fight over a deck of marked cards. To this day, folks in Rust Creek tell the story of the Ryder twins. A tale of betrayal not by a stranger, but by the one person supposed to know you best. 1 face, 2 souls. 1 brother built to heal. 1 born to destroy. And in the end, it wasn't just the law that solved the case. It was the truth that could no longer hide in a mirror.